See, yesterday, last topic, VBScript loop statements, incomplete continuation. See, yesterday we discussed, just a minute, VBScript loop statements. We have 4 loop structures in VBScript. We discussed for loop, for next, while when, next third one, do loop, do while loop, do until loop. 2 different structures, while quite opposite to until. See, do while or until. First, using while keyword. Using while keyword. What is the functionality of this usage? It repeats a block of statements while condition is true, as like while when. It repeats a block of statements while condition is true. Next, using until keyword. Using until. See, quite opposite. It repeats a block of statements until condition is true. Suppose once you are in false position, until will continue. Once you meet true position, it will come out from the loop. While once you are in true position, just a minute. It repeats a block of statements until condition is true. Find the difference between these two these two keywords, while and until. Observe. Suppose, for example, you are in true position. True position. You are in true position. First, until, while. What will happen in case of while structure if we are in true position?
While the condition is true, it will repeat.
It repeats.
Otherwise,
okay. It repeats. It repeats a block of statements once you meet false position, it will come out. Next, if it is until, for example, you are in true position, what will happen? It comes out from the loop now. Did you understand the difference between these two keywords, while and until? If we are in true position,
Yeah.
while will repeat. Once you meet false position,
It will
come
exit.
out.
Yeah.
Quite opposite until. Once you are in false position, it will repeat.
Repeat.
Once you meet true position, it will come
It
out
will
from the loop. Okay. See, two keywords, four types of usage. First structure, while, do while. Do while condition statements increment or decrement based on your requirement. Next, end keyword loop. Next, another structure, condition at bottom of the loop. Do statements increment or decrement. Next, loop condition, loop while condition. What is the difference between these two structures? First structure checks the condition and continue. If condition is true, then it will continue. Second structure, irrespective of the condition, at least it executes once. After first iteration, it will check the condition. Next, this one, using until keyword. Using until keyword. Just a minute. Do until condition statements increment or decrement. Next, loop. Next, fourth structure, two different keywords, four different structures. Do statements until condition. See syntaxes. Next, examples. Observe. See open order operation. Just a minute. Login. Base state flight reservation window. Record the navigation. If you want to observe the test execution process, insert wait statement, it is optional. Next, I want to open first 5 orders using do while loop. First, initialize the variable, order number, any meaningful variable you can use. Order number equal to 1. Next, do while condition. What is the condition? Order number less than or equal to 5. Next, pass that variable as parameter order number. Then it will increment or decrement. Order number equal to order number plus 1. Then it will execute 1 to 5 orders. Run the script. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over. Next, condition at bottom of the loop. Suppose order number 10. Observe the condition. Is it true or false? Is it true or false? Condition is true or false?
Less than or equal. False.
False. Then what
Less
will
than or
happen?
equal.
Then what will happen? It
It will
executes.
run until
Say condition false. First it executes the 10th record. After that check the condition. Condition false, come out. Observe. Put base state. Run the script. 10 over. Next, using until, quite opposite to while, just change the condition. Requirement same. I want to open 1 to 5 orders using until keyword. I want to open 1 to 5 orders starting 1. Tell me the condition. Order number greater than or equal to 5.
equals to 5.
Like this.
Run the script. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4. Just a minute. Not equal to, greater than enough. Run the script. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, condition at bottom of the loop. See, run. It will execute 1 to 10 records. 1 to 5. Just a minute. What happened? Oh. Then it will execute 1 to 5 records. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, order number 6. Tell me what will happen. Observe the logic. What will happen if I execute this script? Observe the condition. It executes 6th order only. Condition false. It executes 6th order only. Run the no. In this structure. Now observe the logic. Just a minute. do until. Now observe the logic. What will happen? Condition is true or false?
Is equals to 5.
Order number, just a minute. Order number equal to 1. Now tell me. Condition true or false? Condition true. Then it will execute. It will. Condition true or false? True. See 1. Order number 1. Just a minute. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tell me condition true or false? Condition false na?
Number is 1, so 1 is not greater than 5. Yeah, it's false.
But condition false. But what is the until functionality? If condition false, then it will continue. Once you meet true, it will come out, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
See, quite opposite to while. If condition is false, then it will continue. Now condition is false. It will continue. Next, observe. Order number equal to 7. Now observe, condition is true or false? Condition is true na?
True. Condition is true, yes. Order number is 7.
But
7 is greater.
so it won't execute. But in this structure, it will execute at least once. So it opens 7th record, then come out. Run the script. 7. Over. Understand the concept, don't confuse. Any confusion? Hello?
No, I got it. I got it.
See, until means condition is true, it will, condition is true, it will, it won't continue. Condition is false, it will continue until condition is true. Okay. Next. One more loop structure that is rare use in our UFT test automation. For each next. First 3 loops only we use. For each next. See, it executes all elements in an array. Say for first 3 loops we used scalar variables. For this last loop, array variable. Syntax for each element is not a reserved word, in array. Next, statements next. Example, dim a comma b comma rest of 3. See, in this declaration total 3 variables. First 2 variables scalar variables, third variable array variable. We can store 4 values into that array variable. 0 based index. 0 to 3 means four values. See, A equal to 10, B equal to 20, rest of 0 equal to addition of A comma B is concatenate A plus B. Next, rest of 1, subtraction, message optional, subtraction of A comma B is A minus B. Next, multiplication, next, division, A by B. Next, for each structure, for each element not reserved word, in array, here array is res, MSG box element, then it will execute all elements in this array. Run the script, division, first division, subtraction, just a minute. Oh, we didn't change this indexes. Run the script, addition 30, subtraction minus 10, multiplication 200, division 0.5. Okay na?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
like it.
Okay, cool. See, this is about loop statements. Once again, we will use loop statements in scripting chapters. Next, and one more point, we discussed conditional statements and loop statements separately. Within conditions, we can use loops and vice versa. Within loops, you can use conditions. Next, as per our roadmap, VBScript Functions, important chapter, concentrate. VBScript Functions. First one, what is function? What is function? See, English term function is different, programming term function is different. Here function means a reusable code. A reusable code. See, a reusable code. See, generally for performing operations, we prepare scripts or programs. If it is scripting language, script. If it is programming language, program. Next, function means subprogram or subscript. Why we prefer functions? Whenever we want to perform same operations multiple times, then we prefer functions instead of writing the same code again and again. See, when we use functions, see, whenever we want to perform same tasks, several times, then we prefer functions. Say using functions, we can reduce the code size. Say using functions nothing but reusable components. We can reduce the code size. Okay na? Got the points, 3 points. What is function? Purpose of functions. Next, advantage. When we prefer functions and advantage. Okay na? Tell me what is function?
Function is a line of code that is
Script also lines of code. What is function? Simple definition. A reusable code. Next, when we prefer functions,
when we have to repeat run the same steps.
whenever we want to perform same operations multiple times, then we prefer functions. Using functions, we can reduce the code size. Okay. Next, you take any programming language or scripting language. Basically, functions are two types. See, there are two types of functions in VBScript. One is built-in functions, predefined. Built-in functions. Another is user-defined functions. Built-in, user-defined. Say built-in functions limited and read-only, but user-defined functions unlimited. You can create a number of functions and you can edit the code if required. See, we have some categories of built-in functions. Example, array functions. Next, important category for our test automation, string functions. Next, date and time functions. Date and time functions. Next, IO functions, input output. IO functions. Next, conversion functions. Next, miscellaneous functions other than above. Next, user defined functions, again two types. One is sub procedures, next function procedures, again sub procedure scope, basically two types of scope, public, next private. Suppose if you don't specify public or private keywords, if you don't specify public or private, then default is public. Public is default. Next, you can usage of public functions. Internal, next external. Internal function, external function. See, in practical chapter you can get more clarity. What is internal function? Define and call. Defining and calling within the script. Same script. Defining and calling within the script is called internal function. External function means calling from external library files. Next, function procedures also two types. Scope two types. Scope, accessibility, access control, public, next private. Again public you can use internal function or external function. See, built-in functions we will discuss later. First, user-defined functions. See, user-defined functions. Under user-defined functions, you know two types. What are the two types of user-defined functions? Two types of user-defined functions. Sub-procedures, next function procedures. For example, in C language, functions and subroutines, but in VBScript terminology is sub-procedures, function procedures. See, first I am taking sub-procedure. Sub-procedures. What is sub-procedure? Set of statements, sub-procedure. Set of statements, enclosed with sub and end sub statements to perform an operation. Set of statements enclosed with sub and end sub statements to perform an operation. Next, sub-procedure takes arguments. We use arguments as parameters. See, sub-procedure takes arguments. You can use single argument or multiple arguments by separating with commas, but arguments are optional. If you don't want to pass any parameters, use blank parenthesis, but arguments are optional. Next, sub-procedure won't return any value. What is returning value, that I will show in practical chapter. Just remember, sub-procedure won't return any value. Any value. Just a minute. See, sub-procedure won't return any value. Tell me, what is sub-procedure? What is sub-procedure?
A set of statements enclosed with sub and sub statement to perform an operation.
Next.
Sub procedure take arguments, but arguments are optional. Sub procedure won't return any value.
Good. See next, syntax. Syntax. Sub, next procedure name, next within parenthesis arguments, next statements, next end sub, next function procedures, function procedure, same, only single difference. What is function procedure? Observe, set of statements enclosed with function and end function statements to perform an operation. See, set of statements, or you can say group of statements enclosed with function and end function statements to perform an operation. Next, as usual, as like sub procedure, function procedure takes arguments, but arguments are optional. See, function procedure takes arguments, but arguments are optional. Arguments are optional. Next, function procedure can return a value. Say, returning the value is not mandatory. If you want to return the value, you can return one value or multiple values, single value or multiple values. See, function procedure can return a value. Next, syntax also same, just enclosed statements different. Syntax, function, next procedure name, function procedure name, next arguments, next statements, end function. Observe, what is the difference between sub procedure and function procedure? Single difference. Identify. Difference between sub procedure and function procedure. Tell me, both are for performing tasks. Next, sub procedure and function procedure take function procedure and sub procedure both take arguments. Arguments optional. Then what is the difference between sub procedure and function procedure? Tell me. See.
Function procedure.
Function procedure
Can return a value.
Yes, can return a value. But sub procedure won't return any value. Procedure won't return any value. This is the only difference. And one more thing, here two scenarios. First scenario, only performing task. Only performing task. Observe. Two scenarios. First scenario, only performing tasks or operations. Only performing operations. Next, scenario 2, performing operations, and returning value. Value or values, single value or multiple values. See, for these two scenarios, we can use function procedure. Sub procedure only for performing operations, but not for returning value. Function procedure you can use for performing operations and returning value. Anyhow, returning value is not mandatory. Then my question is, suppose if function procedure is suitable for both the scenarios, then why sub procedures? Got the point?
Yes, sir.
Using sub procedure you can perform task only or operation only. Using function procedure you can perform operations and returning value. Returning value is not mandatory. If required you can return, otherwise just perform operations. Suppose if function procedure is suitable for both the scenarios, then why sub procedures? Okay, reason is sub procedures are faster in execution than function procedures. So whenever you want to perform operations only, choose sub procedures. Whenever you want to perform operations and returning value, then choose function procedures. See, note technical reason. Sub procedures are faster in execution than function procedures. Okay na? When to choose
Yes, sir.
sub procedures, when to choose function procedures, but no restrictions, no limitations. Suppose if you want to perform operations only, for that you can choose function procedure also, no issue. Nowadays high configured systems, but reason is there. See, whenever you want to perform operations only, then choose sub procedures. Next, if you want to perform operations, and returning value, or values, then choose function procedures. Okay. Next, come to practical session. Examples. See, first example, sub procedure. Sub procedure without arguments. Sub procedure without arguments. Say, generate the login functionality. Enter agent name, enter password, click OK button. Okay. Next, make it as reusable component. Just a minute. Oh. Just a minute. First run it once. Run it once. Perform dry run. Sample run. Executing. Next. Make it as a reusable component. Sub procedure name login. Any meaningful name you can use. Not only login, you can use ABC, XYZ. Next, no arguments. Blank parenthesis. See, this is function definition. Next, call the function using call statement. Call function name. Next, values for arguments. No values, just blank parenthesis. Run the script. Executing. See, you can call before the function definition also. No issues. Run the script. See, executing. This is sub procedure with no arguments. Sub procedure with no arguments. Next, sub procedure with arguments. First sub procedure without arguments, next with arguments. Procedure with arguments. Say, what is the purpose of arguments? What is the purpose of arguments? We can use arguments as parameters. We can use arguments as parameters. Suppose agent, comma, password. Pass arguments as parameters. Next, if you want to observe the text execution process, insert wait statement, it is optional. Next, call the function, call the sub procedure, call, next, sub procedure name, within parenthesis, values. See, A, B, C, D, Mercury. Run the script. See, it is executing. Okay, na?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Next, it is internal function. Internal function. What is internal function? Defining and calling within the script. See, in this script only we are defining this login function, login sub procedure, and calling also in the same test script. See, defining and calling in the same script. It is internal function. Next, make it is external function. Suppose cut the code. Create function library. Next, place the code, save as VBS file. Suppose functions.vbs. Next, and one more thing, for each and every sub procedure or function procedure, one library file is not required. You can place hundreds of functions in a library file. You can write hundreds of functions in a library file. By associating that library file, you can access those functions in your tests. Getting this point?
Yes.
First, associate. Hello? Any query?
Yes.
Tell me. Hello?
I understood this concept, but
but tell me.
What?
Ask me.
I don't know how to. I don't know how to ask. Like, if you go back to the script. So you are setting that agent name as agent and
Values. Agent name as ABCD, password Mercury. Okay, here we used parameters. Then what is the problem?
no problem, no problem.
See. Just single statement. First, in order to access external functions, first associate the library file. File menu, settings, resources. Just a minute. See, file menu, settings, resources, click add icon, browse path of the library file, functions. Next, apply. Okay. Now try to run this one. Run. See, executing. See, this is external function. Observe. Internal function. Next, external function. What is internal function? Defining means creating. You can write like that. Creating and calling within the script. Next, calling from external library files. This is external function. Next, just a minute. Take new test. Just a minute. new test. Associate that function library, file, settings, resources, browse path of the library. Okay. Next, call the function, call login of values ABCD Mercury. Next, try to run the script. See problem. What is the problem? Object repository was not found. Object was not found. See, earlier we recorded that script. Recorded script uses local repositories, but this time another test script is not executing. Say, for that you can use one statement, load, say, load shared repository. Understand the problem? Why script is not, why function is not executing, sub procedure is not executing?
Yes, you call on the same action, but when
if it is
you
same
created
test,
the other.
it will execute. Suppose another test, no repository, na? See, load shared repository during execution. You know how to load repositories single word collection dot add, next within double quotes path of the file not available now, just create one repository, shared object repository, resources object repository manager, object add objects, just a minute, window not required, save. abc.tsr. Oh. Save. Run the script. Oh. Run the script. Still, just a minute. A repositories collection. A spell mistake. A repositories collection. Dot add. Correct spelling. TSR. And what is the problem? Repositories collection dot add. Actually, this is not the problem. Login object was not found in the object repository. Why it's showing? Try to locate the problem. Resources, object repository manager, file, open, abctsr. See, login is there. Just a minute. Now it is executing. Next, load from function library. Actually, that is the optimized way. Whenever we call that function, it will load the repository file, then execute. Just a minute. View Solution Explorer. Oh, you're not updated. Run the script. Executing. Next, take new test. Just paste the statement. Next, associate library file. Run the script. Executing. Okay na? See, this usage is load shared object repository file directly from function library. Okay, now this concept.
Yes.
See next verification points. Next usage. See first sub procedure without arguments. Next sub procedure with arguments. Next third one sub procedure and loading shared object repository file. Next fourth one sub procedure with verification points, one or more. Observe, I am taking the new test. Generate the login script. Just a minute. Enter agent name, enter password, click OK, close, stop, run it once. Okay, executing. Next, make it as a reusable component. Sub login of arguments agent password, arguments optional. Next, pass arguments as parameters. Next, try to identify the verification points in this login functionality. See, after entering a valid agent name and password, then it will launch flight reservation window. By checking the existence of flight reservation window, you can confirm login functionality. Suppose if login unsuccessful, then it will show error. This is failed scenario. Here error handling required. You need to clear error pop-up and cancel the login dialog. Observe. First insert verification point. If window of flight reservation dot exist of suppose 12 seconds. Otherwise it takes default time 20 seconds. Time optional. After checking the existence, close the flight reservation window. Next, result equal to, result is just local variable, login successful. Any meaningful message you can write. Passed. Else a result equal to login unsuccessful, failed. You can display the result within the function. Result. Next, call the function. Tell me calling statement, call statement. I want to
call function name.
Call function name login. Arguments are there. Off means open bracket. First agent name any 4-digit value. Next comma, Mercury as password. See, we are providing valid input. Valid input. Run the script. See, login successful, passed. Next, error handling required na for failed scenario. For that you can use system util statement. System util dot close descendant process. It closes all process that opened by UFT during execution. See, first valid input. Successful. Next, invalid input. Suppose agent name 3 digits. Run the script. See, after 12 seconds it will go to else part. In the else part, error handling already there. Over. See, sub procedure with verification points. Observe what we discussed. Sub procedure won't return any value. Here it is returning value or not? We are displaying the result now. Is it returning value or not? Sub procedure.
Yes, it
not returning. It is not returning. This result is local variable. This is assigning value. Assigning is different. Returning is different. What is returning? Returning means returning to function name. Say login. Login. This is only assigning value. Valid input. Try to run this function. See, executing. Next, showing illegal assignment login. Illegal assignment. Why? Sub procedure won't return any value. Just a minute. Assigning value is different. Returning value is different. Returning value means returning result. Just a minute. Make it as function procedure. Function procedure can return a value. See next example. Function procedure with returning a value.
Returning value. What is returning value?
I will show. See, You no need to display inside. You can see call not required. Just take external variable res equal to login. Just run the script. See, this time it is executing. Login successful. Observe. Earlier we used local variable for assigning that message. This time I am using function name. And execution time, observe this execution calling statement. Variable equal to function name within parentheses arguments. What is the functionality of this statement? Execute the login function and store that result to res variable. Earlier we used local variable result within the function. This time function name. It is the concept of returning the value. What is the difference? Say if we use local variable, you can use that value within the function only, not outside of the function. Suppose if you want to export the result to external files, or if you want to pass the value to external functions, you can't. Why? Only assigning value. That result in previous example is local variable. It can't be exported. You can use that value within the function only, not exporting the value. Suppose if we use function name, that is the concept of returning value, you can use the value within the function, or you can export the value to external files. You can pass the value to external functions. See, anyhow, here we are using res script level variable, external variable. It is not local variable. This can be easily exported. How to export that we will discuss in future chapters. Just remember the concept. See, find the difference between previous example and this example. In the previous example, I used local variable for assigning value. That value can be used within the function only, can't be exported or can't be passed to another functions. Sometimes we need to pass one function result to another function as input. It can't. Suppose if we use function name, that is the concept of returning the result, then you can use the value within the function, or you can pass the value to external functions, or you can export the value to external files. Find the difference? Any confusion?
Yes, sir. Yes.
See, advantages. Just a minute. First, copy this code. Advantages of returning values or returning results. What is the, see, we can use the value within the function and pass the value to other functions. Next, we can export the value to external files. Suppose that value is result. You want to export the value to external Excel files. Yes, you can export. Okay na? And one more example, important example, returning multiple values. Say, next example, function procedure with returning multiple values. Say, for example, in this login functionality, only one verification point, only one value, only one verification point, only one value. Suppose in our function multiple verification points, then how to return multiple values? See, one test may have one or more verification points. Same way, one function may have one or more verification points. No restrictions. Suppose if it is one verification point, you can easily write the result using function name. If it is multiple verification points, how to return multiple values? Just a minute. I will show one small example. Concentrate. Returning multiple values. See, my requirement is verify update order button. Before opening an order, update order button should be in disabled state. Yes, manually you can observe. Next, after opening any order, update order button should be enabled. See, before opening order, one verification. After opening order, second verification. See, in this script, two verification points. Two verification points. See, just a minute. Record the navigation. Before opening order, check that one. Design step generator, that is non-recordable statement. Show the update order button. Check the enabled property value. Enabled property. Return value, you take any variable. Suppose before open, any meaningful variable. Next, open an order. Stop. Next, after opening order, you take another variable. After open. See, function verify update button, blank parenthesis, no arguments. Next, you can declare variables in functions also. Suppose dim, before open, next after open, next verify 1, verify 2, verification point 1, verification point 2. Say before open, we are returning that value. If before open equal to, tell me before open equal to enabled property, true means enabled, enabled false means disabled. See, before open disabled na means false na.
False, yes.
False. Then return the result. Take variable verify 1 equal to update button disabled. Disabled means passed in this scenario. Passed. Next else enabled. Enabled means failed. Suppose before open order, if it is enabled, failed. This is one verification. Next, after open. After open. After open equal to
True.
true. Yes. Enabled. True means enabled. Next, verify 2. Verification point 2. Update button enabled. Enabled means pass in this scenario. Disabled. Say return the result. Here function name. Suppose if you return function name, how to return two values at a time into function name. Suppose if you use like this, if verify 1 next verify 2, what will happen? One by one, assigning values one by one. Variable or function name takes latest value only, not two values. But I want to assign two values at a time. Got the point? Not only two,
Yes.
multiple values, 3 values, 4 values, 10 values, 100 values. See, remember array function is there. Array function. Using array function you can assign multiple values. See, array of verify 1, verify 2. Suppose 10 verification points. Verify 3, verify 4, like that. Next, call the function res equal to verify update button blank parenthesis. Just a minute. Res is just variable. Otherwise you can say result, any meaningful name. Put base state, run the script, executing. How to display the value? Say, observe last statement. We are executing the verify update button function and storing multiple values at a time. Then that result external variable is array variable. It converted as array variable, then display. If you want to display, you can display. MSG box result of 0, first verification. See, arrays having 0 based index. One second verification. Put base state and run the script. See, first observe yellow arrow marking. Update button disabled passed. Second verification, update button enabled passed. Understand the concept? Any confusion?
No confusion.
Okay, you practice 1 or 2 times, then you can get more clarity. Just a minute.